Welcome to the class on the therapeutic use of vitamins. There are a lot of ideas about vitamins, whether you should take them or as a supplement. Do you have enough in your food? What are the signs of deficiency? Um, some people believe you are just flushing money down the toilet when you take vitamins. So this class is to help clear up some of the misconceptions, myths, and things that can help you identify if you're taking a good source of vitamins, if you really need them. What are the signs of deficiency? And do we want to take supplements to avoid disease? Or do we want to wait until we have a disease and then figure out what's missing? Hi, I'm Mary Bourne. I'm a traditional naturopath. I love sharing natural remedies with people. And my YouTube channel is all about health and ways to either maintain it or obtain it. Food is our medicine, and it should be our main medicine. However, in this country, it is normal for a person in their 50s to be taking 5 medications, and then it escalates as the decades go on. So if you go into a doctor's office, you've never seen that doctor before, and you're 70 years old, you're expected to have 7 prescription medications that you take on a daily basis. And to me, that's not health. I would much rather spend my money on making sure I have good food to eat and a good food type supplement that is going to make sure that my body has what it needs. So let's talk about some deficiencies. Oh, by the way, you can find me at bornforhealth.com, and there are a lot of sidebars on that website to help you navigate through. There's a herb encyclopedia that goes over the nutrients in different things, such as ginger. It's alphabetical listing, and you might find that informational. So vitamin and mineral deficiencies and illnesses, there is a huge correlation. I'm an avid gardener, and that I can recognize when I have not been faithful enough in fertilizing my vegetables that are growing. And I also know that it's really important to enrich the soil, to make sure the soil has what it needs for the plant to take up its nutrients. Modern growing of food includes spraying all kinds of junk on it, and they actually have ruined the soil. If you go to places, farms where they grow things GMO, you're not going to find very many earthworms, or the soil is not going to be rich in nutrients. And that's the difference between providing what the soil needs, what the plant needs to be healthy. And I think we can compare that to humans. Even homesteaders, I love watching the homesteader channels. They provide minerals for their animals, and the animals actually know what bin to go to, what minerals they need. And as humans, we've lost that. The animals are smarter than we are as far as connecting with what our body needs. And I really feel to be healthy, you need to reconnect, figure out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, what you've been eating, what you've been doing. There's so much more to health than popping some pills. So let's talk about some deficiencies that could result in a disease. So, nobody suffers from drug deficiency. We have plenty of drugs to go around. And what we can realize is that these drugs often will contribute to deficiencies. So in chronic and degenerative disease, drugs primarily manage symptoms. They don't heal anything. They're there to basically cover up. When you take something for a headache, it's basically covering up, numbing the pain so that you don't feel the headache. But that's, the reason you get a headache is a clue. You should be listening to it. What have I been doing? What have been stressing? We need to look at our body as identifying different clues that we need to look for. So a primary cause of health problems is nutritional deficiencies. Yet nutritional supplements are seldom seen as a treatment for disease. In fact, in natural medicine, we're not allowed to say this vitamin or this supplement is going to cure this condition. Because in our country and in most countries, the medical community has taken over that definition. It is, we have the medical community is really good at getting you from an acute phase to stable position. They do not keep you healthy. They can keep you alive, and that's about it. They can seal up wounds. They can take out different things. They can do marvelous things, but they cannot keep you healthy. So each individual needs to understand what it is they need to be healthy. We're all different, and there isn't any cookie cutting mechanism that you can go through that's going to keep every single one of us healthy. That just doesn't occur. We all need different things. And so that's why I feel that we should first pay attention to our body, learn, teach young children what their body needs, what they need to stay healthy and keep the energy that they need to be children. So being an avid gardener, I have to watch what my plants are telling me. And if I'm to be healthy, I have to listen to my body. I don't cure my plants. If I fertilize it, that doesn't cure the plant. But the plant has definite needs. It needs water, it needs sunlight, it needs a good medium to grow in. It needs a little care and attention. And the same is true for our bodies. Most of our health problems arise because we aren't giving the body something it needs to stay healthy. So the first thing, of course, is figure out what that need is. Now, just about every living person in modern Western society is deficient in at least one essential vitamin or mineral. Now, this is one of 6 classes that I'm going to be giving. This one is primarily about vitamins. Next month, we're going to go over minerals. We're going to go over different vitamins that are fat-loving vitamins. They are vitamins like A and D and E and K, and these are fat-soluble vitamins. Then we have water-soluble vitamins. So there are there are a lot of vitamins that contribute to health, and there's also phytonutrients. There's more than just vitamins and minerals. And the widespread prevalence of nutrient deficiencies can make it hard for practitioners who aren't trained in nutrition to recognize them. You go into your cardiologist, they haven't really got a clue on what the heart needs as far as the nutrients go. It doesn't, maybe they understand a little bit about CoQ10, or they have not been trained like natural doctors have been trained in the benefits of nutrients, and to be able to understand how the body is responding because they don't have nutrients. And there's a lot of medications, like I said, that will rob you of certain nutrients. So to think that you can get everything you need out of a McDonald's meal or country, chicken, or any of these fast foods, pizza, is ridiculous. Now, sometimes these can be healthy foods. If the crust is made out of a nice sourdough and you've made the pasta sauce yourself from tomatoes you grew in your own garden, that's different. But the average person does not eat a well-balanced, nutrient-dense diet. Dr. Weston Price was a prominent dentist who started practice in 1893. And during his career, he noticed declines in the dental and general health of his patients. He would look at how the bridge of the mouth had changed, that people were getting sicker. And we still understand that the health of the teeth can often tell the health of the body. Now, he noticed that the dental arch caused the teeth to crowd and get crooked, and that people needed their wisdom teeth extracted. Centuries ago, people didn't do that. People had strong teeth that loved them up into their 80s, 90s, even 100s. But now, with the prevalence of sugar and poor nutrition, people lose their teeth at an early age. They get things, they have fillings and dental caries and root canals and a whole variety of things that they do to their teeth, when in fact it is due to nutrient deficiencies. So the amount of decay is increased. And so he's like an investigative person. So he wanted to figure out what is going on. And through his research, he did this 10 years, traveling around the world, studying the general and dental health of people living in primitive diet areas, people that lived in areas that you and I would consider uncivilized, but they had the best health and the best teeth. These people could walk for miles, and they had no fat on them, and they were healthy and happy. Excuse me. Gotta take a little water every once in a while. And his travels brought him through the Alpine valleys in Switzerland and Hebrides and Alaska, Canada, United States, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, all over. And he wrote journals on these findings. And some of the things that he discovered, they had virtually no tooth decay or gum disease. well into their 70s and 80s. They lived a long time. Um, they did not get impacted wisdom teeth because their jaws were wide enough to handle that. They didn't have teeth that crowded together. They didn't need orthodontists and periodontists and all of what we need nowadays. And they rarely contracted contagious diseases. Their immune system was top notch. And they were generally robust and healthy, even though they lived in harsh conditions. You know, they didn't have general heating and toilets and all of the things that we have for sanitation, you know, bathing and just all of the things that you consider available in a civilized world. So, and the other thing they had were very few social problems. Most of these people got along really well together. They problem solved. They lived as a community, helped each other. And in Africa, Dr. Price discovered that 6 entire tribes lived together without a single cavity or malformed dental arch. In the 13 tribes, there were no irregular teeth. Look at these happy children. You know, when these people moved to the cities and adopted modern foods, that's when they got tooth decay. They discovered sugar and Pop-Tarts and, you know, junky eating like Americans did. Also, it was after the introduction of refined foods that the people became susceptible to infectious diseases as malaria. You know, before these people went like off to school or college, they moved away from the family for a period of time to get educated. They came back with these different desires. You know, the well-meaning people would send this dehydrated milk. These people weren't used to powdered milk and the junk that we consider food here in the United States. They had milk from cows that was never pasteurized or homogenized, had all the enzymes in it, needed to digest it. So when they started eating powdered milk, they got sick. Their stomachs couldn't handle that. They got dysentery, and it brought their immune system down. And then they were susceptible to the flies and all of the disease that was around them, that before this time, their immune system were able to handle these diseases. So primitives, on the other hand, not only had immunity to these infectious diseases, they also did not suffer from the chronic diseases like arthritis and heart disease. They didn't know cancer or diabetes. These are diseases of culture. They're diseases of the civilized world, so to speak. So Dr. Price's basic findings were that the diets of these native people had 10 times more fat-soluble vitamins like A and D. They had 4 times more water-soluble vitamins like C and B complex, 3 to 4 times more macro minerals, calcium, magnesium. They ate roots. They ate, their teeth were good because they chewed food. He did not test for trace mineral content. Back when he was doing this, we didn't know about trace minerals. In fact, we just learned about vitamins and minerals back then. So do you think the situation has gotten better or worse? Look at that heap of food, or so-called food, that is standard in most American diets. So nutrition starts with whole, natural food that thousands of chemical compounds in addition to macronutrients like fats, proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. We also know about phytochemicals, the color of the vegetable or fruit has a lot to do with how our body uptakes. If hormones and toxins can affect us in parts per million, what about all these other compounds in whole foods? We have so much yet to learn about good fats and bad fats. To say that fat is bad was so minimalistic. It really harmed our society. Our government has harmed us in so many myths. It's just a crime against humanity. The food pyramid with the base of grains, that should never have been established. And not understanding the need for pure healthy water and so many different things. And we just have a lot yet to learn, but we have a lot yet to know what we've learned not to do versus what we've learned to do. So supplements can't replace whole foods. We understand that. Whole foods have to be your base. And I love this book, Nourishing Traditions. You can get Sally Fallon's book. There is a plethora of information available in just reading this book. You can understand a whole lot about how fermented foods help our body and help our gut to stay healthy so that we can digest different foods. And a YouTuber friend of mine, her new YouTube is called Mary's Nest, and I've been following her for a couple of years now, and she teaches you how to go from, the average kitchen. A lot of people don't even know what their kitchen is used for. They pass through it to get to the living room, or, it's not a place that develops good nutrition. And that's what we really need to do. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can do so many wonderful things in crock pots, and learning about how bone broth can make your bones healthy and strong. So Mary teaches you how to go from this kind of a no nutrition kitchen to a high density nutrition, and some steps along the way so that you can get a traditional foods kitchen going in a very short time with very little money. So her thing is not that you want to invest a lot, but that you get the best food that you can get for your budget, and then just focus on that. If you get rid of all the fast foods, the convenience foods and that, and start cooking from scratch, you actually do save a ton of money. And I will link her videos to in the description below. You'll usually see it as show more, and then it'll open up into some connections. Now, nutrition in America, typical American only consumes 1.5 servings of vegetable, and that's mostly potatoes or tomatoes, and no fruit on a given day. They, they're popcorn and chips and alcoholic drinks or carbonated beverages. And we are the fattest nation on the planet. Americans spend 90% of their money on processed foods, and it is getting to be where we cannot afford to purchase these kind of foods anymore. We must get back to healthy nutrition based eating. This thing about soft drinks and pastries and cakes and donuts and hamburgers. And now meatloaf can be healthy for you. You can make meatloaf in a really healthy way. You can make pizza in a healthy way. But chips and popcorn, if you're just eating rice on a daily basis, now you add whole rice and beans, that can be a different thing. If you make your own bread with good flours, and that doesn't have to be gluten, it can be gluten-free, and it can be sourdough. There are cheeses that are healthy for you. Beer, there are fermented things that you can get that are so, like kombucha, that are healthy for you. Vinegars, those type of things. And you can eat potatoes that are healthy for you, but you just don't want to eat foods that have been drenched in saturated fats. So ideally, we would get all the nutrients we need from our diet. However, it can be difficult to get all the vitamins and minerals you need, even if we are trying to eat healthy. I make 90% of our food. I cook 90% of our food, I should say, not make, because I don't make a cow. But you know, I still use supplements, because I know that even as careful as I am, there is no way I can get everything my body needs when I'm close to 80 years old. I need a lot of nutrients to get me healthy, to help me sustain the type of living that I want to live. I don't want to be a sickly person. I want to be a healthy, vibrant person. Even at 80, I want to live my best life right until it's over. So basic supplementation may be necessary for optimal health, and more specific supplementation for overcoming disease. And I talk about this in a lot of my videos. If you want to go through my YouTube channel and check out some of the videos that are available there, you'll understand my love for herbs and growing good food. Now, what are the causes of reduced nutritional density? Well, look at the way we spray our food. Even, you know, like my next door neighbor has this thing where he wants a good lawn, and he thinks he can only get that if he puts poison on it. And it concerns me, because he also has a very little dog that is close to the ground. His belly practically drags on the ground. And I know I've heard lectures from people who have had their animals develop cancer because they used chemicals. I would rather have a lawn full of weeds that I know are healthy. I like to go and pick my weeds. I pick my dandelions and purslane, and I don't want to kill my weeds. So it's really different, because we have wonderful earthworms and high density soil that grows really delicious food. And it's because I keep giving back to it. The soil gives up their nutrients to help grow the vegetables, and you have to give the soil its nutrients as well. It doesn't manufacture its own nutrients. We have to give that to the soil. So the way things are processed and stored, and you know, it's like, even if you buy organic, most of the organic foods that we get come from either California or Florida. They're trucked days away from us. And some of them are 14 years old before they even are 14 days old before they even get to us. And then who knows how long they've been sitting on the grocery shelf. So, you know, even if you try to buy the best, you're not getting the freshest unless you grow it yourself and pick it yourself. So there are a lot of myths that we've been told, like, you need to avoid animal fats and eat low-fat diets, and calories are calories. That's not true. There are high-density food and low-density foods, and that's really what you want to pay attention to. So I think our government experts have failed us. And one of the ways they failed us is the RDA, really dumb amounts, because these were developed back in the 40s when we first understood about vitamins, and they have never been updated since. We have incredible deficiencies due to this labeling. It doesn't even touch optimal health. It is only to help keep you from the basic diseases. And if you're in a disease state, if you already are dealing with heart disease or diabetes or something like that, you're going to need more nutrients than the really dumb amounts listed on a jar, especially if you don't eat right, especially if you are working or living in a toxic environment. So this is another wrong that our government has perpetrated and made people afraid of supplementation, and instead counting on taking drugs because the FDA has okayed them. So factors that can cause a person to need higher amounts of certain nutrition are genetic disorders. If in many cases the gene is wrapped in something that protects that gene from getting expressed. But if we don't have the nutrients to keep that gene wrapped, it unwraps, and we end up with genetic disorders. If we expose ourselves to environmental toxins, like my neighbor with this, spraying junk on his lawn, pesticides and herbicides and those type of things, or you eat the food that's been exposed to these things, you're putting these toxins into your body. If you have low stomach acid, or you have a lack of digestive enzymes, you can't break food down, you are also going to be nutrient deprived. If you have intestinal diseases, a lot of people have parasites. We think nothing of doing antiparasiticals with our pets, but when it comes to humans that get their face licked and they have their animals sleep in the same bed as them, they don't think that those pests can go from one to another. So then we add to it by smoking and having alcohol or drug use or inhaling substances that we think is going to be less problematic than alcohol. It's still a toxin that your body has to deal with. And then stress. In the last 2 years, with the mandates and that, we have dealt with incredible amounts of stress. The job thing, not having community around us. And then there are specific disease conditions that need special nutrients. Now, there are some testing that you can do. There's blood and serum tests. They're pretty expensive. And these are based on averages. they don't take into consideration each person and that person's particular need. Now, the one thing that I really find valuable is to have a vitamin D test. And because vitamin D is so important in so many functions, that I think that knowing your level of vitamin D is beneficial. And we know that through many of the studies that have been done, the optimal levels of vitamin D are 80 and above. And there are very few people, because again, the government intervened and said, if you don't spray your body or lather on all these protectants, you're going to get skin cancer. And of course, that prevented us from getting the healthy vitamin D that we get from sunshine. So, it's sometimes these experts are so narrow in their thinking that they don't think of the long-term ramifications of what they're telling people to do. So, even though you can get testing, it's not always going to give you the full idea. Again, listening to your body, trying to figure out what your body needs is going to be one of the best things. So now the body can store some vitamins, but we're not like animals. Animals have vitamin C that they store in their adrenal glands, and humans can't do that. We do store some vitamins like A, D, E, and K, but vitamins like the B vitamins, B12, and B12 is a little bit stored, but I have found so many people who are deficient in B12, and I don't like giving just B12, because when you take like B12, you may become deficient then in B6. So you don't want to just, I think a broad spectrum vitamin B is really more important. And vitamin C is, these two vitamins are lost during times of stress. They are things your nervous system needs, and they can get used up before you even drive to work, providing you still drive to work. So there's some benefits in taking some therapeutic vitamins. So when using supplements to maintain health, a dose of 1 or 2 times the RDA is fine. So however, when you're using supplements for therapy, we often, much higher doses, but now you do not want to take gummy bears or Centrum or, these chemical vitamins that have they've never seen food. They're all made in a lab somewhere. You want food-based vitamins and minerals. And I trust a company called Nature Sunshine. My family's been using Sunshine products for over 40 years. They are an herb-based company, and almost all their nutrients are have some kind of herbs in them to help the body with utilizing those supplements at a better rate. Now, you're not going to get nutrients to the body and be like the plant that needs water, and after a couple of hours you can see it perk up and be full of full of life again. That doesn't happen. Vitamins, yes, life, that's what vita means, vital. You take it and your body uses it, and your body uses it quickly. So a lot of times you need to take a lot if you're deficient, build up, and then you can ease off later on. You can, as your nutrition improves, as you start eating better. These things are so much better for you if you can listen to your body. And, you know, if you get upset, maybe it's because you need an enzyme to help break those foods down, that you can't just go into it. So this is my supplement regime. I'm not saying this is the regime you need to take. If you're younger, you may want to take different supplements. We have, you know, prenatals for women who are at the age where they want to have children or that they have children. There's different needs that your body has. So I think that taking vitamins is proactive, and I would much rather be proactive than reactive. So I take Megacal. This is a vitamin mineral supplement that helps. You can do an escalating program with Megacal, which I did, to help detox from heavy metals. And that is done over a period of time. And if you're interested in knowing more about doing that program, you can email me, Dr. Mary at bornforhealth.com, and I would be happy to go over that with you. But these are wonderful food grade supplements. You know, past the age of 35, you start to lose your ability to digest food. And I think everybody needs to take an enzyme product, and food enzymes is my choice. And I take 2 twice a day of the enzymes. Vitamin D3, I take both in this form and also in a herbal form in what's called elderberry defense. So it helps to keep my immune system going. Citrus bioflavonoids is my vitamin C preferred thing. It's a broad spectrum vitamin C that has not just ascorbic acid, but it has rutin and bioflavonoids in it that are beneficial to healthy arteries and veins and that. And then I also take an omega-3 supplement because it used to be called vitamin F because it's a fatty supplement, a fatty acid supplement. So this is my regime. And if you want any supplements for yourself, you can, I'll include a link where you can get 25% off of your entire order. So that's a really good deal. So I hope that you've enjoyed this program on the therapeutic use of vitamins. Next month, like I said, I will be going over the use of minerals and the importance of minerals in our diets. And I hope you consider looking into Mary's nest. And I find her entertaining and so helpful in so many ways. I also feel that do some research for yourself, because each person is individual. Find somebody you trust that can guide you if you need help. And like I said, I'm very willing to be a resource person for you. Check out my website, bornforhealth.com. Look at some of my videos. I've been doing these now for over a year, and I have a plethora of videos on a lot of different herbs and how to use them. So I hope you have wonderful health, that you keep interested in what your body is telling you. And until next time, this is Dr. Mary for the health of it.